Thanks, Debbie, and thanks to the team at Sondergaards for the invitation to be here. I'm Fleur Allen. I'm a master networker. I run a business called Out of the Box Biz. What that is, I know you're all thinking, what on earth is a master networker? What I do is I connect people to those they want to know in business, and we do that as a part of a business community. For example, we had the guest arrive at one of our events, and she came up to me and said to me, I'm new to business and I'm a copywriter. So one of our master networkers came up to her and said, why don't you lead with, I'm a copywriter with 20 years of experience, and dump the I'm new to business. And she just went, great. She tested it out that night. 3 months later, she's getting an outrageous amount of business through networking. What I've just done is what's known as an elevator pitch or an elevator speech. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but I know you're all busting to network, and I'm the last speaker that stands in your way between that glass of wine or that bottle of beer. So I'm well aware of that because I'm a networker. So let's go. Before I go any further, I just want to paint a context in terms of, I get a lot of people saying to me, yeah, does networking really work, Fleur? Well, did you know that studies suggest the majority of opportunities are found through networking? For example, if someone refers you, there is an 80% higher chance that you'll get the gig. This has been sourced by one of our members, is Paul Ames from Sky's the Limit Career Counselling, and that was sourced from a research through Career Roads. And something's going weird. I'm going to briefly talk about, I had a plan, but I'm going to short circuit it and blast through to the practical stuff to hand you over to networking. Is that all right with you? So I just need to test you how fast your reflexes are, because it depends on whether we do one or two actual activities. So when you see me put my hand up, could you respond by putting your hand up? Does everybody understand? All right, we're going to do a few exercises. Let's go. I like you guys. So we're talking about the iceberg theory. Everyone goes, yeah, sure. How does networking work? Well, you don't know because you don't see it. All the advertised stuff, all the known stuff is above the waterline, so the tip of the iceberg. What we're talking about here, what we're talking about in networking is all the stuff you never see. So it happens through the people you know, not what you know. You need to know what you know, but combine it with the power of who you know, and then, well, let's move on to the next bit. How do you honestly feel about networking? Is it, oh my goodness, I'm dreading this, can we get Fleur Allen off? Or, awesome, she's my new best friend. So what I want you to think about now is which emotion are you, and it doesn't have to be quite so extreme. I'm just doing that for fun. So think of emotion about how you're feeling about networking today, because on different days it will be different. So think about that emotion. Now remember, when you see me raise my hand, you need to raise your hand and stop talking. Okay, I'm just testing you. This is to get your attention back when you're all noisy and doing fun things. So I want you to think of that emotion now. Don't overthink it. When I say don't move yet, I want you to turn to the person next to you. It can be front, side, or behind. And I want you to say, hi, I'm awesome. So not your name, your emotion. Or, hi, I'm really quite anxious tonight. But don't overthink it, and no feedback, no judgments. Any questions? Go. All right, that's one person. All right, I'm just trying to get you into some actual networking, so stay with me, let's go. So what networking is an extended group of people with similar values, interests and concerns. Our common interest here is the presentations tonight. You remain in contact and you provide mutual assistance or support. The key here, the number one part where people fail is remaining in contact. You must remain in contact. Who am I? Why should you be listening to me? Well, I think you should be listening to me because I'm called a Master Networker. I didn't call myself a Master Networker. I run a business community of around 100 members, and I was positively heckled by one of my own members going, "No, you're the Master Networker, Fleur." And I just went, "Thanks, that's my title now." We now have multiple Master Networkers in our business, but I can talk about that later during networking. Why I'm here is because I have led a very diverse career. I've always been a big networker, and the reason why I've been a big networker is because I come from a family of networkers. I come from a family of people who want to build community, bring people together, and if there's someone standing over in the corner by themselves, we just want to go over and check in and see if they want to join us. And if they don't, that's fine. But we're one of those kind of people, so if you're that person who just wants to be left alone, you really don't like me. And I know this. But basically, what I do now, Out of the Box Biz, has been created by the encouragement of my own network. My own network came to me, "You're one of the best networkers I know. I want to know your comments and what you know about networking." And 2.5 years ago, Out of the Box Biz was born. So that's my story. So that's why I'm here. But what I want to talk about to you is developing meaningful connections. Now, the handshake is important. The way you dress is important. The way you speak is important. But don't overlook the handshake. We haven't got time to do the exercise, but we can have a bit of a laugh. I'm not going through all 9, but I'm just going to talk about the bone crusher. Guys, generally, you're at fault here. But I'm sorry to say, generally girls, you're the limp fish. So think about your handshake. I won't get you to do the exercise now because you're going to go and grab a drink and you're going to introduce yourself for people. So count how many bone crushers we've got and how many limp fish we've got in the room. I don't think we'll have many tonight. A tip I would just want to mention too, which is what I teach in a 3-hour workshop called Networking for Success, is we suggest to you to refer through people and not to people. So what that means is not doing the machine gun fire of business cards, but stop, pause, get to know someone before you start talking about exchanging contact details. Secondly, I want you to focus on demonstrating your value through what you say. And I'll go into more detail when we just do a quick elevator pitch if we've got enough time. Plus, you need to show in your actions your values. So if you say you're helpful and someone suddenly drops to the floor next to you and you don't do anything, you have no regard for them. Very dramatic situation, hopefully that won't happen, but it's not in alignment with your values that you're saying. So match what you say with your actions. And finally, this is the last piece. What was the general title I gave it? At a networking meeting, how do you make meaningful connections? So rather than you end up with all these business cards and you're like, I don't really remember these people. What did I say to them? And all that sort of stuff. Well, have an elevator speech or an elevator pitch. It's the same thing. And that is the 10 to 30 to 60 seconds if you've got enough time. So when I opened, I did pretty much a 60-second. It may have been 50. We don't need to time it to the T, if you know what I mean. But the structure of it was the following. And we're just going to do the first 15 to 20 seconds to, workshopping it together, and then I'm going to release you and allow you to go and do some open networking. Yay! Because I'm a networker, so I'm busting to do that. So the first 10 seconds, it can be 7 seconds, but no longer than 10 seconds, is your full name, is what you do and who you do it for. And don't assume accountants, bookkeepers, lawyers, that we all understand what you do, particularly accountants and bookkeepers, because your playing field is changing dramatically. So your full name, what you do, who you do it for, and for me, master networker, no one knows what a master networker is, so keep going if the person is showing body language and is open to it, to explain what on earth that is. And then, if you've got your attention, you're allowed to move on from the first 10 seconds to the next 20 to 30 seconds, which is embellishing on what on earth it is you do. So I generally explain what out of the box is, because most people don't know unless you've heard of it before. And the last 60 seconds, generally a 60-second elevator pitch is not normally in a room like this. It's normally if you're in a networking event and they say stand up and share a bit about yourself. That's a full 60 seconds. And the back end of the 30 seconds is a case study, is an actual story of someone you've worked with and you've demonstrated value and success, which is what I demonstrated before. Do you remember that? When I was talking about the person who led with, I'm new to business, rather than, what did she say? She was a copywriter. Yeah. So I want you to think about your first 10 seconds and leading into your next 20 seconds. We don't have time to do anything more because I'm probably over time now. Just getting a sign. Okay, everyone's happy? Okay. So what I want you to do is with someone that's near you that you didn't speak to before with your emotion, is share with them your first 10 to 15 seconds of your elevator pitch. Any questions? So that's your name, what you do, who you do, and embellishing on anything that's confusing. Got it? Go. You guys are awesome, you're natural networkers. Allow me to interrupt you so you can continue these conversations in your own pace. Just one tip I didn't mention, when you're talking in that first 30 seconds, highlight your strengths, like we advise the copywriter, not your weakness. Her weakness was that she hadn't been in business for a long time. Who cares, to be honest? I mean, when it's relevant, then share that. I'm not suggesting to lie, but just don't say it in the first 30 seconds because you'll lose so many people. Okay, if you've got any questions about any of this content, please come and ask me afterwards. As I mentioned, we do, before I go on to that, one extra tip is have a goal in mind. Have a goal of the type of person you'd like to meet and why. Just keep that in your background and you'll have far more success in any of your networking endeavours. Finally, we do have a workshop on the 28th of April. I'm not going to go through all the intimate detail of what we go through. Today is just some very basic highlights because I only had 10 minutes and I've probably taken 15. We do share a LinkedIn strategy that we use. On the first step, we're getting a 50% conversion and we swing between 20 to 30% conversions beyond that for any of you who are into conversions and percentages. So it works. There's just a testimonial there. I'm not going to do that, but basically those of you, all of you here, action takers, I want to work with action takers. So rather than the public price of being $297, because we wrote this for our members, but we invite non-members to come along, today I'd like to offer it to you for $149. But if you'd like to know more about membership, for those of you tonight only, if you want to discuss membership, I can share with you how you can get to this workshop for free. But that's a conversation to have one-on-one. So, lastly, thank you.